She doesn't lose interest because you're a bad man. She loses interest because you started chasing her approval like it was oxygen. Stop feeding that fire. Start being the calm flame she leans toward. Welcome to Psychology Insight. If you're done pleading and ready to move like a steady, grounded man, hit subscribe, tap the like, and let's fix this the clean way. No drama, no begging, no cringe. Ready? Let's go. Step 1. Stop reacting. Start noticing. Let me tell you the raw truth. Most men lose a woman's interest not because they did something terribly wrong, but because they react like crazy to every little change in her mood. She goes cold for a day, and suddenly he's panicking, texting double, asking, "Did I do something wrong? Are you mad at me?" That one move alone is enough to crush attraction. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When she acts hot and cold, it's rarely an accident. Sometimes it's her stress or her own emotions. But many times, it's a test. She wants to see if you stay solid or if you crumble. And sadly, most guys crumble. They over-explain, they chase, they beg. And the moment you start chasing, she feels it. You're giving her the power to decide how you feel. That's when attraction dies. So what's the fix? Don't react. Start noticing. Think about it like this. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. She frowns, you frown back. She smiles, you beam like the sun. That's how most men act in relationships. They reflect her every mood like a mirror, instead of being the steady ground she can stand on. But a woman doesn't want a mirror. She wants an anchor. Someone who stays calm even when the storm hits. How do you do this in practice? First, create space between her action and your reaction. She takes 6 hours to reply? Don't explode with, "Why are you ignoring me?" Instead, just note it. Literally, in your head, go, "Okay," slow reply. That's it. You don't create drama. You don't fill the silence with essays. You observe. Here's the key. When you stop reacting, you gain clarity. You start to see patterns instead of drowning in your own panic. Maybe her distance shows up after arguments. Maybe when she's stressed from work. Maybe it's a cycle she repeats with every guy. But you can't see that if you're too busy sending her long paragraphs, begging her to reassure you. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine kept chasing a girl who'd go silent every weekend. He'd text, call, beg. Nothing worked. When he finally stopped reacting, something clicked. He realized she wasn't losing interest. She was hanging out with her friends and wanted to see if he'd spiral. Once he stopped giving her that reaction, she actually came back warmer. Why? Because she no longer saw him as a puppet she could control with silence. This doesn't mean you act fake or cold. Don't pretend you don't care. Just stay steady. Be the guy who notices, who observes, who breathes before he replies. Think detective, not defendant. A defendant argues to prove innocence. A detective gathers evidence. That difference alone can change how she sees you. Bottom line, stop reacting, start noticing. Calmness makes you magnetic. Women test for strength, and nothing says strength more than a man who refuses to be rattled. Step 2, pull back with dignity, not punishment. Now here's where men blow it the most. She pulls away, and he pushes harder. He texts more, calls more, shows up with flowers, compliments, the works. He thinks effort is the cure. But here's the truth. Effort, when misused, smells like desperation. And desperation is poison to attraction. Think of it like this. If someone takes a step back from you and you take 3 steps forward, what happens? You crowd them. They feel suffocated. Same with women. If she's creating distance, don't chase her into that distance. Respect it. Give it space. Here's the hard pill to swallow. When she's distant, your best move is to pull back a little more than she does. Not to punish her, not to play silly games, but to show you're not a man who clings when someone drifts. If she replies after 6 hours, you reply after 8. If she cancels plans, you don't rush to reschedule. You let it sit. If she becomes dry in conversation, you match the energy politely, but you don't force anything. This is how respect grows. She realizes your attention isn't guaranteed. She feels the space, and space creates curiosity. A quick example. I knew a guy, let's call him Dev. His girlfriend started texting less and less. Instead of blowing up her phone, Dev decided to shift his focus. He trained harder in the gym, spent time with friends, and stopped initiating conversations for a while. Within a week, she noticed. She actually asked him, "Why are you so quiet lately?" Boom. The dynamic flipped. She was now the one wondering. That's the power of pulling back with dignity. Now listen carefully. This isn't about being cold or cruel. Don't go around ignoring her on purpose or trying to hurt her. That's childish. It's about aligning your actions with self-respect. You're showing her, through behavior, that your world doesn't collapse when she's distant. And that is very attractive. So next time she withdraws, don't panic. Breathe. Match the energy, maybe even step back a little more. Let her feel the gap. If she values you, she'll lean back in. If she doesn't, then you saved yourself from wasting years chasing someone who was never truly invested. Either way, you win. Step 3. Put your mission back at the center. Here's the deepest truth most men don't want to admit. You lose her interest when she becomes the center of your world. Attraction fades the moment she feels like your entire happiness depends on her replies, her mood, her attention. Women aren't drawn to men who orbit them. They're drawn to men with their own orbit, a mission, a direction, a life that keeps moving no matter what. Your mission is what gives your life weight. It's the gym you refuse to skip, the career you're building, the business you're grinding on, the skill you're mastering, the book you're writing. When you put that at the center, your energy changes. You're no longer chasing her for validation. You're chasing goals that make you magnetic without trying. Think back to when she first liked you. Chances are, you were focused on yourself. You had hobbies, drive, ambition. Somewhere along the way, many men drop that and replace it with constant chasing. That's when she starts to pull away, because the man she was drawn to is gone. Putting your mission first doesn't mean ignoring her or acting cold. It means balance. She's part of your life, not the point of it. You invite her along, but the train is moving whether she hops on or not. That's powerful energy. Let me share an example. A buddy of mine, Rahul, was in a relationship where his girlfriend started drifting. Instead of begging her to stay, he doubled down on his goals, hit the gym harder, launched a side business, learned a new skill. Within months, his energy shifted. He wasn't bitter, he was glowing with purpose. And guess what? She noticed. She leaned back in, not because he begged, but because she felt the pull of his mission. That's how it works. When you're busy building, she doesn't feel like you're suffocating her with neediness. Instead, she feels drawn to your strength. Attraction naturally comes back. Here's your challenge. Write down 3 things that matter to you outside of her. Make them daily non-negotiables. Train your body, grow your work, sharpen your mind, spend time with real friends. Do this and watch how fast she rethinks the distance. At the end of the day, a woman doesn't want to be your only focus. She wants to feel your focus is on your mission, and she gets to share in the ride. That's what reignites interest. That's what earns lasting respect. Now, let's step back for a second. Think about what we just laid out. Step 1. Stop reacting, start noticing. Step 2. Pull back with dignity, not punishment. Step 3. Put your mission back at the center. Simple on paper, but life-changing if you actually live them. See, here's what happens to most men. They hear advice like this, nod their heads, maybe even take some notes. But the next time she pulls away, the old habits come rushing back. The panic hits. The phone starts buzzing in their pocket like a drug, and they relapse into chasing. And right there, they give the test away. I don't want you to just hear this. I want you to live it. Because the difference between a man who understands psychology and a man who bends to it is night and day. Let's get brutally honest. When a woman loses interest, most guys think they can win her back with more effort. They think if they show how much they care, she'll melt. But in reality, the more you push, the more she retreats. Why? Because you're teaching her that her distance controls you, that you'll work harder for less. And once she sees you like that, respect starts slipping out the back door. But here's the good news. You don't need to beg, and you don't need to play fake games. You need to stand still, stand tall, and let her see that your value doesn't come from her mood swings. That's where attraction lives. That's where interest is reborn. Think about the men you've looked up to, the ones who seem calm, unshaken, untouchable. Did they ever look like they were chasing approval? No. They carried themselves with quiet certainty. They didn't need validation because they were already locked into their path. That's the energy women can't ignore. Now, let me ask you something. Which man do you want to be? The one pacing, sweating, over-explaining, or the one who moves slow, breathes steady, and makes her wonder why he's so centered even when she's not? That choice is yours. I'll give you a challenge. For the next 7 days, live these steps. Don't react, just notice. If she pulls back, you pull back with dignity. And no matter what happens, keep your mission at the center. At the end of those 7 days, look at how you feel. Notice how your energy changes. You'll feel lighter, sharper, more focused. And trust me, she'll notice too, even if she doesn't say a word. Because here's the truth women don't say out loud. They respect a man who doesn't beg. They crave a man who holds his frame. They can't resist the mystery of someone who refuses to be rattled. You don't need to play tricks to regain her interest. You just need to remind her, through action, that you're still the man she was drawn to in the first place. And listen, if she doesn't come back, good, you've already won. Because you didn't lose yourself chasing someone who couldn't see your worth. You stayed grounded, you stayed steady, you kept your mission alive. That's the real victory. So here's what I want you to do right now. Drop a comment below and type steady if you're ready to stop begging and start leading. Tell me which of the 3 steps you're committing to today. Maybe you're working on observing instead of reacting. Maybe you're finally pulling back instead of chasing. Or maybe you're putting your mission back at the front of your life. Share it, because when you put it in writing, you make it real. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join the Psychology Insight family. We don't do sugar-coated lies here. We talk about the real psychology, the uncomfortable truths, and the mindset shifts that make you stronger in love and in life. Also, share this video with a friend who needs it. Every guy knows at least one man who's stuck chasing a woman who lost interest. Be the friend who gives him the blueprint to flip the script. Remember this. Women test, but it's not about them winning or you winning. It's about whether you pass the test of yourself. Hold steady, stay grounded, keep your mission alive, and the right woman will lean in without you saying a word. Stay calm, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.